It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sprint Lane podcast for Harness Racing New South Wales. This is episode number 95. My name is Greg Hayes and this is the Sunday session. Great to have your company and I'm looking forward to the next 40 minutes or so. And as usual, there is plenty to talk about in the sport of harness racing, especially focusing on the horses trained out of New South Wales. I start the podcast this week with some dreadful news. Extreme C out of the Eureka after a scan on Friday confirmed he had a tear in a suspensory. I spoke with trainer Dave Hewitt this morning, and as you would expect, he's extremely down after learning of the news. Vets have said he needs at least 3 months to recover. David has suggested he would be giving the horse a lot longer to recover than that 3 months, as he wants the horse to put the injury behind him. It is a cruel blow, and while the sport of harness racing can give you some great highs with victories, it can be extremely difficult when things go wrong. I spoke with David Hewitt on the podcast a couple of months ago, and we went back in time and we talked about his injury-plagued star Red Sea and how he could have been anything if he'd been injury-free. And now, more than a generation later, injury has struck down his star horse in the middle of what should have been a lucrative campaign. Really sad news. I've known the whole Hewitt family for many years. I remember playing in a harness city versus country cricket match many years ago. That's when Brad, Sam and Scott were only kids, and David's brother Bernie moved to it was before Bernie moved to the Bathurst area. They are a lovely family. They give up plenty of their time to talk to people in the media like me, and fingers are crossed Extreme C can make a full recovery and we can be talking about him aiming up at feature races into the future. In some brighter news, a huge congratulations to Riverina breeder owner trainer Paul Carlefelt after he achieved yet another moment of glory in a 30-year involvement in the sport when he was crowned Victorian Breeder of the Year in 2023. Carlefelt's Redbank Lodge Standardbreds produced 9 Vicbred eligible starters, including Swayze and Wardan Buddy, with 26 wins, and they recorded a total of stake money of over $1.2 million. Paul bred the superstar Leap to Fame, Swayze and Maximus Red out of Art Major mare Let Us Reason. Paul, he's only got a few mares left now, but Jared and Justin are breeding more than he is. I remember just before I left Sky in 2019, we travelled down and did a story on the Carlefelt family. It was a really good story, really interesting. Another son, Brad Carlefelt, top triathlete. He's represented Australia. The whole family loved their running. I think Paul, from memory, back then in 2019, was struggling a bit with knee or a hip issue, and he wasn't able to do much of the running. But he's also a big bird breeder, and he took me through all of his different breeds of bird he had down at the farm. We got some great footage of that from memory. So well done to Paul, and I might have to make some time to catch up with him on a future podcast. Who's on the podcast today? Well, with the Queensland Carnival now in full swing and Redcliffe taking centre stage last night, it was good to see the New South Wales trained filly Ever Art take out the Redcliffe Oaks for trainer David Thorn and driver Will Rickson. Surprisingly, missed the New South Wales Oaks this year, but has headed to Queensland for the Carnival. So I'll catch up today with Thorny and have a chat to him about the filly, what races she'll target now, and why we haven't seen very much of her to date. Cam Hart, he drove one of Jason Grimson's horses last night at Menangle, and while it was beaten as a short price favourite, he still saluted the judge on 2 occasions with Jared Alchin trained horses. Blazing Home was super impressive. And I've seen a bit of a push on social media trying to get the horse into the Rising Sun in Queensland. So we will be definitely discussing it. It was the first leg of a driving double for Cam, so we'll have a chat about the other win too. Now, in regards to Cam, not doing the bulk of the driving for Jason Grimson, I need to tread carefully. I haven't had Cam on the podcast for nearly 3 months. The interview with Cam is recorded. I spoke to him off air before we started. He requested we don't discuss the situation because, in his words, it's not his story to tell. I did mention to him there had been some discussion on social media when Jack Callaghan was on the podcast as why I didn't pose the question to Jack. So the topic probably needs to be addressed. So again, no one wants to discuss it. No party involved has said what and why it's happened. And there are stories out there in the industry about Cam jumping off horses to drive others. I don't know what the true story is. Cam's not saying. Jason Grimson not saying. Jack Callaghan, he's just doing the driving for Jason. I do ask Cam about driving one for Jason at Menangle in the interview, so you can listen to his response later in the podcast. But he is hoping to be going to Queensland to drive Swayze. That's what he did tell me. James Rattray is a man of few words, normally lets his horses do the talking. Of course, famously the man who put the polish on the Inter-Dominion American Mile champ Bowtide. I haven't interviewed James for a long time, but after he won 2 races at headquarters last night, I thought it might be time to reach out to James and catch up with him. London to a brick, his pacing bred trotter won the first, and he also won the last with Star Major. So there's plenty of info to discuss with Jimmy on the podcast. I'll have a look at the races at Menangle on Saturday in the Menangle Express and see if we can highlight some winners going forward. Mr. T back with a couple of tips. He got a winner last weekend. It was short, but a winner's a winner, while I put the kiss of death on a few of Brad Hewitt's horses at Menangle on Tuesday. So I'll update our tipping challenge later in the show as well. But first up, let's hear from the trainer of the Redcliffe Oaks winning filly Ever Art. He is my old indoor cricket batting partner, David Thorn.
Everard leads the way. Luxor Turner starting to draw closer on the outside. RDB Mickey powers up 3 wide. Lovericious just behind them. Deeper out Riley Rainbow. Reason to shine. She's full of spirit. Sheer artistry. Better collect. Treacherous love. Third quarter. 27.5. They're at the top of the straight. Everard corners with the lead. Luxor Turner's called on. RDB Mickey can't reach them. Riley Rainbow deeper. Lovericious goes to the inside. Everard still bobbing in front. Everard, Lovericious driving through. Everard all of the way. Everard scores, beating Lovericious. RDB Mickey kicked again in the straight. Runs third.
Queensland Winter Carnival well and truly underway, and great to see New South Wales horses coming to the fore. Everard taking out the Redcliffe Oaks. David Thorn trains her, and he's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Thorny. Well done, mate.
Thanks very much, Greg.
Were you expecting victory? She's obviously in the market. She had a good draw, but she was racing some very good fillies last night.
Yeah, I mean, the draw obviously made a big advantage to us. I mean, I thought the 3 horses in the race were probably her, Luxor Turner and Pete McMullen's filly. But they obviously both drew a lot worse. So that helped a lot. It's always a bit of a query whether she's up to that next level. She's never really raced the real good ones. You know, that was always a little bit unknown, I suppose. But it's a big advantage, I suppose, being on the fence too at Redcliffe. So, yeah, we were confident without being super confident. Probably Will was more confident than me, to be honest. But, yeah, her last run was really good at Menangle, and I think that really brought her on.
Will Rixon, he's one of the informed drivers in New South Wales at the moment. I guess, you know, when you've got a driver of his capabilities, it's very easy to just throw him the reins and say, you do what you think's right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I sort of left it up to him. And he was sort of keen to go up, which probably surprised me a little bit. I mean, obviously the draw helped. He had 6 or 7 drives here at Menangle. So he was always keen to go. And that sort of gave me confidence that he thought she could win, because he wouldn't have won if he didn't think she was any hope. So, and I was really happy drawing one that he was driving her, that he knows the horse. And, you know, it's a little bit tricky coming out of one at Redcliffe. So, yeah, that was a plus for us.
First quarter 29.8, then 29.3, and then they really zipped that third quarter 27.5. And Will was at your filly, just keeping her mind on the job, just keeping her going, and she really responded.
Yeah, she's quite lazy in front. Even in track work, or if you work on her own, she's really lazy. She won at Penrith a few weeks ago, and the same thing. He was at her a fair way out, because she just, you know, lazy in front. But you know, she was off the bit, probably a long way from home, but that's just her. And Ricky's horse was outside, her probably travelling better than her at the Bell. But once he sort of got her off the bit, I was sort of quietly confident that she could probably outstay them.
So was last night toe in the water for Queensland Oaks, or were you always planning on heading that way?
No, well, I left it up to the owner a bit. the main race for her really is the Triad. That was always the race I thought she could really win. And these were just a sort of stepping stone, I suppose. I've sent her up to Shannon Price. She's looking after her because she's up there for about 8 weeks. So it's just too hard to be away for that long. So I'll probably go up here and there, But I've left her up there with Scott and Shannon, and they've done a really good job with her. And it's just these races will bring her on. I think she needs the racing. She's only had 6 or 7 starts, so if she can sort of race in the 3 Oakses and then it's sort of every fortnight, which worked out really good. She hasn't got to be over raced, and then it's I think 3 weeks to the Triad, and she goes straight into the final now after winning last night. So she'll race every fortnight, then 3 weeks to the Triad, and then hopefully if she's all good, she'll come home, and a couple of weeks later is the Vic Bred. So she's had an easy start of the year, but the rest of it's going to get a little bit tougher for her.
Beautifully bred by Art Major out of Forever Gold. Forever Gold, she was a great mare, raced in Inter-Dominion finals. She ran second in a Gold Coast Oaks back in, I think, 2011 behind Baby Bling, and then won the Queensland Oaks, and you were in that. You had Vertigo, I think, ran 6th or 5th in that race. So you know the mother pretty well.
Yeah, no, she was a really good mare. If this mare can be half as good as her, would be really happy. So Murray that owns Everard, he owns Forever Gold, and so yeah, he's loving it. And this filly's a nice filly. She's a really big filly. So I think not doing much early will really benefit her, and I think she'll sort of go on to be a really nice mare.
What's the connection between you and Murray? Like, I'm assuming that they're Queenslanders, are they? Yeah.
Murray and his wife Belinda live at Gold Coast, so. Yeah, a friend of mine, Richard Glide, he's sort of friends with there. Charlie Farina used to have racehorses with Murray, and I just sort of got to know him through that. And I ended up with I had a couple of mares, Venturing Hanover and Vanish Hanover, which race for Murray, and it's just gone on from there. Yeah, he's only got a couple of horses now. He had a lot of brood mares. He sold most of his brood mares and just kept 1 or 2, and he's actually only got 2 horses at the moment, and another one's a 2-year-old that I've been trialling that goes pretty good. So, he's pretty happy.
So, missed the New South Wales Oaks. Was there a reason behind that? She didn't start again. She raced in August at Albion Park. That was in the Triad final as a 2-year-old. Then we didn't see her again until the 16th of May at Penrith. So, you missed the New South Wales Oaks. Was that by choice?
No, not really. We went to, actually after Brisbane as a 2-year-old, we went to Melbourne for the Vic Bred, and she actually raced in a heat of the Vic Bred, and they only went half a lap. Something choked down and fell, so there was a no race. So we went through to the semi-finals, and she actually had an epiglottic entrapment in track work during the week. So she had to have an operation, and then she had 3 months off there, and we worked her back up, and she just went a bit lame in behind, just sort of working along. She was getting ready for the New South Wales Oaks, actually, and that sort of, we had to stop work for a couple of weeks, and we got a scintigraphy, and nothing really showed up, so we were a bit puzzled by what happened. But the vet said, look, she seems fine now, just start working her, and we'll just monitor her, and touch wood, she's been fine ever since. So, but having them 2 weeks off sort of made it where we weren't going to be ready for the Oaks, so we just sort of, slowed everything up a little bit, and once we were going to make it, we didn't rush her. So, and then we just started to give her a few starts, and then Murray said, I'd really like her to go to Queensland for the carnival, and that's where we're at. So we've worked everything around the Triad really, and like last night's win was really just a bonus because it takes all the pressure off now.
And I'm assuming Will be more than happy to make the trip to Queensland for whatever she starts in up there. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, if he's happy to go, he was hoping to get a couple other drives in the fortnight for the rising sun and all that's on. So, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be going now. He stayed at home last year for the carnival. He could have went up, and he elected to stay at home because he was just sort of trying to get started with that metro racing and that. But he said to me, I'd really like to go for the carnival if I got the opportunity this time. And he said I'd like to stick with her. So yeah, I think he'll be going up every fortnight, and barring bad luck. So, it looks exciting.
Mate, what about you? Pretty quiet June. Didn't have too many starters at all. We haven't seen Maria Alagonda for a while. She hasn't raced since the 13th of April. Warrior Boy won a race for you last month. How's everything going?
Yeah, we've had a shocking start to the season, to be honest. We haven't had much racing, and obviously Antonia broke down and Chicago Gangster broke down, so they were two of my better horses. So we sort of really have had a bad run, and we give our Money Rocks 3 months off after the Inter Dominion, and then he got a bit crook as well. But him and Maria Allegandra are ready to trial. I'll probably trial Wednesday week, so they both seem good, and I've got a few nice 2-year-olds sort of not far off racing the next month or 6 weeks. So we're hoping to have a good back end of the year. So last night was a good start.
Our Money Rocks, what are the plans? Is there anything in store in the coming future with him ready to go back to the trials?
No, not really. We're just going to race him at Menangle and, just race him the free-for-alls. He's done a really good job, and he's looking really good at the moment. So we'll just race him through to the Inter Dominion and then see whether we go there. Sort of don't really like the theory of having to travel to 3 different tracks in the middle of summer. But, I mean, we'll just see how he is at the time and make a decision about the Inter Dominion. But, yeah, we're just happy to race him. The owner was really keen to go to Brisbane for the Inter Dominion last year, but he said, I've sort of done that now. So he said, I'm not saying I wouldn't like to go in the Inter Dominion, but he said that sort of, I was happy that I did that, and he went really good. So hopefully giving him a good spell, and, he might come back, as good, if not better.
The other 2 horses you mentioned, Antonia, Chicago Gangster, how bad were the injuries? Are we going to see them again at any stage?
No, Antonia's retired. She's going to stud. We're going to go to Captain Treacherous this year. So hopefully in a few years we can, get a foal out of her. And, she's very well bred as well as being a really good horse. So, that's going to take a bit of time. But hopefully down the track we can get a nice foal out of her. And Chicago Gangster's been doing rehab. He had a tendon, but he's been rehabbed at the clinic, and he's actually coming back this week. So, hopefully we're going to try him again. I mean, he's a gelding, so you sort of got nothing to lose, really. But he was a very good horse, he just had a few niggling injuries. So hopefully we'll give him one more go and see what happens.
Well, mate, congratulations with the win in the Redcliffe Oaks. All the best of luck with the filly going forward. It looks like you might have a fun winter carnival with her.
Yeah, hopefully so. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, thanks very much.
Poised to pounce is Blazing Home. It's there, close enough if good enough, and then our Uncle Jim Cassius Deck and the rest headed by Tuppence as they run the corner. 27.9 the split, first into the straight, I'm in trouble. Model Barno, Arden's Ace desperately needs a run, there's not a lot of room, and now letting down with a big burst. Here comes Blazing Home. Blazing Home has quickly gone up and gone to the lead. Cassius Deck, late as Jillaby Nitro, but the leader is Blazing Home. It's holding a wall of horses, and down to the line, Blazing Home is going to go home and win it well. Second home in the race, Jillaby Nitro. Third up was Arden's Ace, and then came Cassius Deck Tuppence.
Another couple of winners for Cam Hart last night back at Menangle, and Blazing Home, super impressive. And I notice on social media there's a little push to get him into a slot race up there in Queensland, or an invitation race anyway. Cam Hart's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Cam. Well done on the double last night.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
Let's start with Blazing Home, the first of the 2 winners. Got into a beautiful spot and was able to power over the top of them.
Yeah, we had a little bit of luck early and a bit of speed on for us, so it probably worked out, great for us. With that little bit of speed, we were able to get over the top. But, it was the first time sitting behind this horse, but gave me a really good feel and, put up a nice mile. So, yeah, very good effort from him.
Going back into his career, he's had a few little issues getting up behind the gate. I know one time there, or might have been a couple of times, he missed the start and ran some cracking races. So obviously any of those issues are now out the door. Jared's been able to iron those out. But once he can get into a nice spot, he's obviously got a big engine.
Yeah, that's right. He was a little bit of a quirky horse early on, but he's doing everything right, the last few starts. And, yeah, he's showed a great turn of foot when I tipped him out, and like I said, he put up a 50 mile and felt really good doing it. So hopefully, like you said earlier, hopefully he can get an invitation up north, and I'm sure he'll be right in that race.
Is that what connections, or what Jared's pretty keen to get him up to Queensland and try and squeeze into that race?
Yeah, Jared did mention it, and he said, David Brick and the guys up north have said that they'll keeping a close eye on him last night. So, sure they'll be pretty impressed with that run. And, hopefully an invitation comes his way.
All right, what about the stablemate, My Ultimate Carter, took out race number 4?
Yeah, he's really consistent horse, and, it looked his race to lose last night. I thought he was pretty well graded, and, he put up a nice little mile doing all the work. So, I was really happy with his effort as well.
Is he a nice bread and butter horse? Is that the way you'd categorise him?
Yeah, for sure. It's probably the perfect way to categorise him. And, he's just a nice metro horse that's going to keep going around every week and just earning money. And, he's doing a super job for the connection.
Now, Victory Hill was another one that you drove for Jared in race number 1. They started the meeting last night with a trot. Victory Hill first up from a bit of a break. Did your thoughts change complexion there when Caligula went up in the air at the start?
Oh, it didn't change too much. Obviously, if it had rolled forward, I probably would have had to have handed up to it, but I was still wanting to get out of the gate a little bit anyway, just to stay inside all those to get a nice run. But, I probably didn't expect to lead, but thought the effort was really good from the horse. Had to do quite a bit of work to get to the front. So, like you said, he was first up, so I'm sure he'll improve off that.
So was the instructions from Jared just to not knock him around too much, keeping in mind that he only he was coming up off that break?
Well, he didn't give me too many instructions beforehand, and he had a solid enough trial, so he was fought enough. But horses are always going to improve off their first run, so hopefully there's a bit of improvement there. But he's pretty well ready to rock and roll.
Did Jared give you any indication whether he's going to stay at home or whether he's looking to get him to Queensland?
Yeah, he's contemplating taking him to Queensland. He wouldn't be out of those open trots up there, so I think you'll just see how he is over the next week or so and weigh it up from there. But, I'd like to see him go. I think he's going really well at the moment.
Speculating, you drove in race number 2, and this horse is racing really well for Chris Judd. Very consistent, second at Bathurst 4 starts ago, then ran third, and then since you've jumped on, was a winner at Menangle with a really smart drive that night. And then last night, what did you make of the effort? There were a few leaders in that one.
Yeah, I was really happy with him. He's been a horse. My uncle obviously trained him to start with and bred him, but he's always had a big opinion of him. He just went through a bit of a flat spot where he was a little bit disappointing, but I really think he's on the way back up. And like you said, he won last week quite well, and I thought last night's run was probably even better when they went a little bit quicker. So, really happy the way he's going, and I'm sure over the winter he'll just keep ticking over, and he'll probably pick up another one.
That early gate speed that he's got a big asset.
Yeah, for sure. He really pinged the gate last night, and it definitely helps there at Menangle if you can get yourself to the fence and in a good spot. And he was, got home well off some quick quarters.
I saw your dad throw something up on Twitter last week after the horse won. Is it special when, a horse, homebred and a family horse wins?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's just that little bit more special for sure. The whole family gets quite excited about it, and, I'm lucky enough. A lot of my family down in June are big supporters of mine and watch me go around, pretty well every race I drive in. But, to have that family connection in a horse, it's definitely very exciting for everyone involved.
Race number 5 was the Paul Fitzpatrick Free-For-All. You drove Artie's Express. The horse finished 4th. What did you make of the run?
I thought she was super. She was just a bit unlucky not to get out in time. The first 2 or 3 just had their momentum up on her, but I thought she found the line good in some pretty brutal sectionals. So, really looking forward to driving her in the future.
What were the plans? Were you always going to look for some cover if one came asking?
I was hoping, I knew she could lead or take a sit, but just with the brutal pace, I elected to take a sit, but would have been more than happy to hold the front if, we could have got a bit easier lead, but it wasn't to be. There was, 3 or 4 horses wanting to come out and find their position. So, it's a bit unfortunate that bit of pace was pretty solid early, but still really happy with her effort.
Lead time 46.7. You don't often see over the long trip the lead time get in under that 47 seconds.
The quickest lead time I've seen at Menangle, but I sort of wasn't really pushing any of that pace, but I was still right up on it. So yeah, she was a super effort to be hitting the line once she did get out.
Mate, I've got to ask a question because they get into me on Twitter when I don't. You're driving there for Jason Grimson, so you haven't been totally pushed out of the stable. You're still driving?
Yeah, still got some nice drives for Jace. Obviously that mare last night, and hopefully I can get up north and drive a couple of the others in the bigger races. So, yeah, it's still going along nice and ticking along okay.
Mate, race 6, you drove More Gooder. Very consistent horse, only narrowly beaten, less than 2 metres, and Millwood Bliss is a very handy filly heading to Queensland for the Queensland Oaks. So Jared must have been happy with More Gooder.
Yeah, she's doing a super job. The first time she raced at Menangle and I sat behind her, I said to Jared, I thought she'd do a really good job, and she has the last couple of weeks. And, like you said, Millwood Bliss has got a lot of quality on the side, and, to run it to half the length was a pretty good effort in a mile of 50. So, yeah, she'll be definitely a mare that's going to do a great job there at Menangle with her gate speed and, her tactical speed.
And, mate, Mac Da Vinci in the last event ended up running 6 beaten 8 metres. Thought that 26-2 first quarter might bring Mac Da Vinci into the race, but they just they backed off that speed in the second quarter, 29-6, which allowed the horses closer to the speed to hang on.
Yeah, that's right. I was, super pleased with the spot I was able to get early, and with all that hot tempo up front, I really thought it would bring him into the race. And like you said, it probably just needs a little bit more speed on around the corner and down the back straight. They did sit up a little bit, but yeah, I thought he's just a fraction disappointing. But in saying that, it was, that middle half didn't really help things.
Just watching the races at Menangle on a Saturday night, it like if you're running your 26-second first quarter, it seems to be as long as you can back off in that second quarter if you're in front and get a nice big lungful of air, you seem to be able, if you're on a nice horse, you seem to be able to get home. It seems to be the second quarter's probably more important than that first quarter.
Yeah, just about. Nearly, most Metropolitan horses can kind of leave in 26 and come home in 26 if they get a soft middle half. So, the ones back in the field are definitely relying on, a hot tempo down the back straight. So, unfortunately we didn't get that with Mac Da Vinci, but, there's always next week, and he's a great horse, and I'm sure he'll be up to back.
All right, mate. Well, congratulations. Another double back at headquarters. Well done, and good luck in the weeks going forward.
Thanks, Greg.
They run the bend, 29-2 the quarter, and London to a brick up on the outside has gone up to get out after Victory Hill. They were followed in the centre trying to stay on Toro Stride from One Magic Kenny, but it's London to a brick the leader. Only has to stay down to win it. Toro Stride's running a good race with Victory Hill and One Magic Kenny, but London to a brick the leader below the 50, and it's London to a brick. Too good. London to a brick first, nearly a dead heat second and third. Victory Hill or Toro Stride, then One Magic Kenny, Pharisee, Sunny G.
Topped and tailed the card last night at Club Menangle. James Rattray picks up a double and has a very good trotter going extremely well at the moment. London to a brick. Jimmy's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, James. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Mate, you must be really happy with the form that London to a brick has come back in.
Yeah, really happy with his last 2 runs. He's sort of got a big few weeks ahead, but he's trotting well and doing everything good.
So, of course, resumed on the 25th of May and got things wrong, but since then, the 8th of June proved too strong, won by a head in 154.7, and then last night was able to win and do it as he liked in 157.1. So what are the plans with him going forward?
He'll have the Trot New South Wales race next week. And then he'll go up to Queensland for the Great Square again.
So, what has that always been the plan? This preparation, that if he came back well, you'd get back to Queensland for the Great Square.
Yeah, there's 2 Group 1s up there, so we the plan was to get him ready for those races again, which we targeted last year.
What did you make of his first up run when he did put in the rough one and gallop? What was that worrying for you?
He was just a bit fresh, I reckon. We sort of got rained out a couple of times, missed the trial, and it was just a bit too fresh.
And you happy with the way that he trotted last night?
Yeah, his last 2 runs have been really good, and he's sort of got a couple of runs under his belt now, and trotting really good.
Mate, he debuted obviously back in 2022. He's been a trotter all the way through, but bred as a pacer. Was it always trotting from the day you got him?
No, he green trialled as a pacer when I first got him, and he went okay. He just sort of had a lot of action, and he sort of rubbed up really bad, so we just tried to trot him in between green trial and qualifying, and he just really wanted to trot, so we left it at that.
Have you ever done that with a horse before, just taken the gear off and because they're marking up? Was that the first time you've done it?
Not the first time, but first time I've had one trot like him. Usually sort of take the gear off to keep him comfortable, but nothing to trot like him.
Mate, it's a great story, and he's obviously very talented. Star Major, the horse that won the last race last night, good to see him, a deserved victory.
Yeah, he's been a great old horse for me. Sort of had him all along, and he's won a few metros now, and he's great to have in the stable, and for some very good clients of mine.
Just consistent. Like last season, he won his 70,000. This season, he's won 75,000. He's just one of those perfect horses to have in the stable that you know is going to be there in some important races for you during the season.
Yeah, exactly. He's a tough old boy, and he shows up week in, week out, and always gives us his all. Does London to a Brick go to Queensland by himself, or have you got some other horses to go with him? I've got a little travelling pony. We went with him last night, but he's the only race one I'll take up.
Okay. What about Where You Been Bopping and Boom? Will we see them at Menangle soon again?
Yep, they're 2 weeks away. They just sort of had a little freshen up, went out to the Water Walker for a week and just freshen up. And Taylor will race them while I'm away. Okay, so when Boom at one, going back a couple of starts ago, it was a deserved victory. I think I caught up with one of his owners, maybe at the Goulburn Carnival of Cups, and they were just saying it'd be, he deserves a win, and it was good to see. I think Lucas Rando drove him just a good win. Yeah, Lucas Rando drove Boom, and Taylor Osmond drove Where You Been Bopping for their last wins, and they've been 2 great old horses for us as well, and doing a great job, mate.
As the Eureka gets closer, obviously last year we saw Magician up here. Anything down south in Tassie that could be coming north to you to get ready for a race like the Eureka?
Todd's got one in the mix. Nyack, he ran 4th in the bow tie last year, and he's come back really well. I think it's a pretty strong group this year, but I think he's in the mix.
Okay. All right, mate. Well, great to catch up with you. Always good to see you winning races at Menangle, and good luck with London to a Brick in Queensland.
Thanks very much.
We opened up with an open trot race. I don't mind it. You've got the Gallops punters still in the tab after Saturday. Throw in a race where you have 3 chances ranging from $2.60 to $3.50. Encourages the Gallops punters to have a bet. Toro Stride was the $2.60 favourite. One of the 3 faves, Caligula, galloped 2 strides after the starter let them go and galloped out the back. Speed early from Sunny G and Toro Stride. Toro Stride released Sunny G and then came off the pegs for the retake. This left Victory Hill exposed, and it worked to the front as they raced down the straight the first time. 48.9 the lead time, good going for the trotters. On the pegs, it was Victory Hill, Toro Stride, Sunny G, Down Under Earl and Pharisee. Off the pegs, it was London to a Brick, Electro Jet and One Major Kenny. 29.6 and 30.2, so the tempo was constant. Electro Jet started to weaken at the cages, so One Magic Kenny was forced to come out 3 wide earlier than it wanted. 29.2 round the side, and up the straight, London to a Brick put it to Victory Hill. Toro Stride was off the pegs trying to get into it. One Magic Kenny was working home down the outside. London to a Brick never in any danger. Victory Hill second. Toro Stride third. Caligula, forget. I like him over the mile. Final quarter, 29.5, 157.1 for the mile, and Rattray mentioned in the interview it's now off to Queensland. Race number 2, Golden Bay, $2.80 favourite. Little bit of speed here early, but they backed it off. So Chase the Stars and Speculating crossed, and then Chase the Stars came off for the retake. With slow speed, Bartello came off the inside and made a play for the lead and got it at the judge with a lap to go. Lead time slower than the Trotters at 49.8, but the first quarter was brisk, 28.6. They settled down into this pattern. Pegs, Bartello, Chase the Stars, Speculating. Here comes Bobby. Lochiel has the courage, Shades of Heaven. Running line, Craftsman's Charlie, Golden Bay and Lieutenant, 29.6 the second quarter, 28.2 round the side. Craftsman Charlie looked to be one batting around the turn, so Golden Bay was out a little bit early. As they turned, Chase the Stars came off the inside, Speculating followed it through. Nothing was winding up from the back. Bartello and Chase the Stars went head and head down the straight, but it was Chase the Stars who got the nod. Was good last week too, 27.5 final quarter, 154.5 the mile. Bartello good, driven differently this week. Speculating as honest as they come. Craftsman Charlie kept whacking away in the straight. Got fourth. Like the run of Has the Courage, who made ground in a fast last quarter. Golden Bay beat at home, but I thought he'd had every chance in the race off the 1-1 cover and couldn't get the death horse. The death horse in the straight. Race number 3, Blazing Home, $2.15. Everything worked out perfectly for him. Speed early from Arden's Ace, Montalbano, I'm in Trouble and Blazing Home. 26.5 the first quarter. I'm in Trouble got to the pegs. Behind it was Arden's Ace, Our Uncle Jim and Tuppence. Running line was Montalbano, Blazing Home, Cassius Deck, Jillaby Nitro, Dance and Deliver, Doug's Platter. Middle half, good, 28.8, 27.9. Nothing moved until they got to the top of the straight, which gave the favourite a chance to sprint from off the speed. Extremely fast up the straight and put the race away very quickly. Blazing Home, 27.2 for a 150.4 mile. Of the beaten ones, Jillaby Nitro got the right trip, got home well for second. Arden's Ace ran his honest race from behind the leader, tries hard and his gate speed's a huge asset. Cassius Deck was driven a treat by Amanda. She had a good night last night. Tuppence hit the line okay, had to navigate traffic in the straight, going better than the numerical form suggests. Our Uncle Jim was caught up behind a wall of traffic in the straight. Better run from him, I thought, looking for something in weaker grade. Montalbano, not a death seat horse. He was probably looking for the run that Arden's Ace got. Race number 4, the fave was My Ultimate Carter at 175. Smart drive here from Hart. Speed early from Mr. Blue Chip and My Ultimate Carter. Mr. Blue Chip led. Hart tried to get in behind the leader and couldn't, but with Mr. Blue Chip moving along, it left plenty of room for My Ultimate Carter to drop 3 pegs. So pegs, it was Mr. Blue Chip, Outside Fighter, My Ultimate Carter, Turbo Tommy, Major Reason, Vignette, running line, Mick Danger and Way Out West. Smart drive from Jimmy Douglas here. He slid forward and got Cam Hart off the pegs with My Ultimate Carter, and that gave Mick Danger 1-1 cover. 27.3 and 29.1. were the first 2 quarters, only 29 seconds around the side. Mr. Blue Chip was gone just after the cages. Outside Fighter tried to get off the inside and bumped with Way Out West. My Ultimate Carter was there for the taking. Mick Danger came to the outside to have one crack. Couldn't get there up the straight. Way Out West worked home down the outside okay. Like the way Turbo Tommy hit the line in the black and white colours. 27.4 up the straight for a 152.8 mile win. Race number 5, the fave here was Artie's Express at $1.50. They went really hard here early. A lead time of 46.7. That's like running 26.6 quarter speed for the first 700 metres of the race. So they were moving. Speed early from Brooklyn Bridge, Captain's Knock and Hot and Treacherous with Artie's Express not far away. Brooklyn Bridge all but crossed down to the pegs, but Captain's Knock crossed it and did go hard to the pegs. So then Brooklyn Bridge pushed forward and got the front. Then Artie's Express rolled forward and assumed control before Hot and Treacherous was driven to the lead at the judge with a lap to go. So this was already a race for the back markers. Pegs, Hot and Treacherous, Artie's Express, Brooklyn Bridge, Captain's Knock, Jillaby Sylvester and Van Basten. Running line, Loyalist, JOK, Hector, Mr. Truth, 29.1, 29.6. JOK was put into the race 3 wide before the turn. Hector stalked him everywhere. Hot and Treacherous got tired and rolled off the inside, presenting a run to Artie's Express. Loyalist just kept whacking away and trying hard. 28.3 round the side. JOK got the lead in the Paul Fitzpatrick at big odds, but Hector continued on its giant winning run to score narrowly. 27.6 for a 152.9 mile win over the longer trip. First 2, really good. JOK is going to win a race soon. Low flying. Loyalist was massive Did a lot of work and held off Artie's Express for third in the straight. Huge with a capital H. Artie's Express, think the work in the first 700 told when she got the split. Captain's Knock was better last night. Liked the way he hit the line. Think he might be back on track. Missed the Truth, got home okay in a race where the run on horses was suited. Race number 6, Millwood Bliss, $1.95 favourite. Speed early from her and More Gooder with Millwood Bliss crossing. On the pegs, it was Millwood Bliss, More Gooder, Winona Ryder, Beauty Play, You Take My Breath Away, Promised Land. Carrera Sunset could have been on the markers, but came away from the inside to lead up the running line with Windy Hill Tara and Little Bliss behind it. 27 won the first quarter, then 29. Millwood Bliss was let slide past the cages, but More Gooder stuck like glue to it around the side. 27-4 was the quarter. I reckon Brad Hewitt would have thought he had slipped a lot at that stage, and would have been interesting to find out what Brad was thinking at the top of the straight. Turning for home, it was always going to be a race in 2. More Gooder came off for a very late crack, but couldn't get Millwood Bliss. She is back. She's back in form. She's firing in all cylinders. 27 seconds up the straight for a 150.5 mile. Look out, Queensland. Second horse, More Gooder, low flying. She must win a race soon. Keep following her. They beat the rest quite easily. Promised Land, plain. Winona Ryder held third and is racing well. Beauty Play just got unbalanced when she tried to come around Winona Ryder in the straight. Little Bliss did her thing late. Race 7. It was the Harness Racing New South Wales 2-year-old Trotters Foundation final. The favour was Rainbow Jester at 128. Majestic Funds galloped as they said go, so it was out of play. Speed from Aria, Lucius and Monty lost its compass a bit on the first turn, but was held together and worked forward to find the front. 28-5 first quarter. The markers, it was Monty, Lucius, Aria, San Juan Mountain, second to none, and that left Rainbow Jester off the pegs by itself. At the 1,000, San Juan Mountain galloped and second to none got caught up in the backwash and lost connection with the peloton. 29.8 and 30.1 through the middle half. Monty and Rainbow Jester got away from the rest before the turn. Up the straight, Rainbow Jester just had to trot to win, and it did. Another 30.1 quarter for a 158.5 mile. Aria got through for second. Monty was third, just in front of stablemate second to none, who was really good in the straight, as it made up a lot of ground after the mid-race check. Nice horse, the winner. Race 8, fave here, Stravinsky. Speed early. Pete said so. Stravinsky and Tishan Raider. Pete said so got across, but shortened up Stravinsky, and Kerry Ann was suspended out of the race as a result. Stravinsky came off the inside after being crossed, and Pete said so was happy to let it go. So pegs, it was Stravinsky. Pete said so. Joni Ann, Pitch Perfect. Running line, Star Major. I'm Prezi Bell. Mac Da Vinci, Double Encounter. 26-2 the first quarter. They backed it off to 29-6 for the second. Geary got going at the cages and did what Grimer does. And the third quarter was 27-9, but it couldn't set up a big enough break. Pete said so came to the outside. Star Major was out even wider. It was in the chair, but as Pete said so came off the inside, it ended up 3 deep. Mac Da Vinci pulled out off the cover, but couldn't reel in the leaders. Pete said so, for mine, looked a winner halfway up the straight, but Star Major refused to give in off its tough trip and won narrowly. Pete said so was second, had to withstand a protest in the steward's room from Stravinsky. I'm Prezi Bell got 4, some 6 metres behind the winner. Stravinsky, it's found itself in the right grade, in as a $25,000 claimer. Pete said so was good after working at both ends, but can't take anything from the winner. I'm Prezi Bell, good. So was Joni Ann, better run from it. Thought Mac Da Vinci had every chance, failed to produce late. Best winner of the night, Millwood Bliss. Big performance off what has been a tough 48 hours for the Hewitt family. Looking forward to seeing her in Queensland. Best beaten performance of the night. Couple here come to mind. More Gooder is flying. She was great behind Millwood Bliss. JOK was strong again behind Hector, and so too was Loyalist in that race. I'm going to go with Loyalist. Never saw the pegs and fought on hard. And best driver of the night. Couple of noms here. Cam Hart with My Ultimate Carter was good. But I'm going to go with Amanda Turnbull on Chase the Stars. Smart to go forward, then look for the retake off speculating. Meant she was close enough to Bartello in the straight to wear it down. So driver of the night goes to Amanda Turnbull.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
Mr. T got Mr. Manager home at $1.30 at Temora on Cup Day. So from his $20 invested, he lost $7 for the week. So he's back to minus 20